Hey everybody, and welcome to Writing Workshop Wednesdays. This is our free weekly event in the nature journal community that focuses on using words and writing in our nature journals. A lot of nature journals focus on art, but words are also a really powerful way that we can do nature journaling too. So just as a reminder, or if you're new here, this is a supportive, no judgment space where we can all learn together and try new things. And our only rule is to be kind to each other. So today is a really special class. It's gonna be a little bit different from normal. So we have a special guest who's Ashley here. My singing teacher, and you might be wondering why, what does singing have to do with nature journaling? But there is a connection. So, writing is a really great way to use our nature journals because it can help us to observe the world around us and to think like a scientist and do our I notice and I wonder. But it's also a really great way to bring in ourselves to our nature journals and our emotions and our thoughts and what we're experiencing. And we bring our whole selves with us when we're in nature, like our whole background and who we are and, where we're coming from. So yeah, there's something that I don't usually talk about here, but, talking about that we bring all parts of ourselves to our nature journal. So today I'm really excited to share about The Ripple of Words, which is this book that I am a part of. And so this is, it's a collection of letters from the Sing Spire program, which is a program for people with cystic fibrosis, like me and like Ashley. Ashley started the whole program. It's amazing. And yeah, so if you don't know, cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease that affects mostly the lungs and digestive system. And so Ashley she's a professional singer and teacher, and she started this program so that we can learn how to use our breath more effectively, basically. And for me, it's really helped me to find my voice in more ways than one, which is ironic because I lost my voice right now. But and before I explain about this specifically, Ashley, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit more about the program and in general and this project and how that all, whatever you want to share?
Sure. It's really an honor to be invited into this today. I get to work with Rebecca every single week, and I can tell you that all of you have made a tremendous impact on her life and her voice, truly. And so it's wonderful to kind of get to be a part of that other side of what I get to see and what brings her such joy and such passion. And I know that you all love Rebecca so and admire her brilliance. And so it's equal on this side. And I'm excited for her to share a little bit about maybe a side you didn't even know about Rebecca and her love for music and how it influences her life. So I also have cystic fibrosis, and I started a program in 2017 that combats the effects of cystic fibrosis through the art of singing. So like Rebecca said, I am a musician, and instead of kind of running from that aspect of my life, I kind of turned and embraced being a musician with cystic fibrosis. And so that is really where I say, my truth and my passion meet is where my purpose, found its form, and that is through the Singspire program. So we have 5 teachers that are all specially trained to work with our cystic fibrosis community and really develop the basis and foundation of strong breath awareness, which really just permeates every aspect of our life. We always say that singing is a full body sport. And so meaning that touches the mental, physical, emotional side of who we are as people. For each of us, there is nothing more true to who we are than our voice. And so that is what is so vulnerable about us when somebody maybe makes a comment about our voice, whether it is good or it's bad or in between or, neither of those. And so it's something that we can't change, but it's something that is every experience that we've had, everything we've seen, everything we've lived through lives within our voice. And so if you just stop and listen to the sound of someone's voice, you can tell and listen and hear and feel so much of who they are and what their story is. So we have our 5 instructors that are paired with individuals living with cystic fibrosis from all over the world. So while, the last 2 years, we've all gotten to know Zoom really well. Our program started in 2017, and most people are like, what is Zoom? But 2 people with cystic fibrosis cannot share the same space. And so this is how Rebecca and I have always known each other. And it's because of the bacteria that we both harbor in our lungs that are it's not harmful to the general population, but to each other, I may harbor something that she's never been exposed to and that her body can't handle if I were to share that with her and vice versa. So it's a little bit like COVID, right? Like the 6-foot rule, being kind of a danger to each other. So the rest of the world, while we've been living this way our entire lives, is just getting kind of a glimpse into our story and how we live and build relationships and how we see and view the world and navigate it a little differently. So our program is going to begin the 16th session here in February. Currently, we have about 40 singers from all over the world that are taking part in lessons. Rebecca just touched on this book. Being a musician, one of my most treasured experiences comes from being a part of an ensemble and professional choirs. And so while it's great to sing yourself and have that experience and that passion, there is nothing like joining your voice with somebody else's and standing next to them, taking a collective breath together and feeling your voices meld into each other and create something so much more greater than could be replicated. And so it was kind of a 2-part. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I thought, I want individuals with cystic fibrosis to feel that as well. And, second part to that, the people who I have had the honor of singing next to and singing with, first of all, a lot of them are our instructors because I know their brilliance and understand their philosophy of teaching and using the voice, but they are my best friends. They become your family. When you sing and make something and create something with someone, you all understand that in this respect as well. Just coming to a workshop like this every single week and sharing that vulnerability, there's a closeness and a connection that cannot be replicated. And so we just did our 5th virtual choir project. So part of that as well was in real world circumstances. This choir of individuals living with cystic fibrosis could never get together in the front of a performing arts center and sing together, right? So this type of medium is all we will ever have. And in a way, cystic fibrosis steals a lot from individuals with cystic fibrosis, just based upon it's a progressive fatal disease, right? And there's so much that you can't control. And so, this was kind of a way of sticking it to CF. That was like, what? You say we can't be together and make music? Watch us. So in 2019, we started the virtual choir, which again was kind of before everybody learned what a virtual choir is. So while everybody else, someday hopefully will get back together and be able to make music in person in the way they knew before, we never will. And so we just did our 5th project this last September, and this is an outcome of that. And you might be thinking like, that's weird. Okay, I thought you were talking about singing and a choir. Kind of. Again, the choir that we have is based upon community, and the masterpiece that is created out of that is through the authenticity of people's truth and using their voice, believing in their voice. There's something so magical about all of these singers sending me in just a video of their voice, and they're terrified, right? You listen back and it's just you. And when I start to layer everybody on top of each other, the most beautiful and magical thing happens. And it's something that cannot be recreated. It's not something that can be paralleled. And so a part of this project, the video, I think Rebecca sent a link to it in like the page to connect to this today. Go watch it. Beautiful Rebecca is a part of it as well. You'll recognize her. But the whole idea behind it was all of us probably have stood in some respect, in whether it is a large spacious field under open sky or along the side of a shore and looked out on the horizon, and you feel so small and you can feel so isolated and the world seems so big. And regardless if it's cystic fibrosis or something else, some obstacle that makes you feel alone, makes you feel like you just want to hear the words your heart needs. And so this music that we did for this project is based upon that idea that the woman you will see, it's kind of like a music video that we did for this project. This woman is constantly writing letters, and you'll kind of follow her story of living with CF, behind closed doors. Rebecca and I look like we could fit into the general population, right? That CF is an invisible illness. And so you might never know that we have CF. And maybe you didn't know before today till Rebecca shared that she has CF. And so this woman in this video is just yearning for somebody else to connect to, for somebody to hear the words and to receive the words that her heart needs to hear and that her eyes need to see. And so follows, her story. At the very end of the song, you see her roll up these letters, stick them in a bottle, and Rebecca has one. I'm so glad she finally got it out of there, and throws it into the ocean. And so, part of it is a release for herself, but also you hope that bottle finds the person that needs to hear and feel those words. And so at the end of this, you see another gentleman who also has cystic fibrosis come onto the screen by himself, walking along the shore, and finds this bottle washed up on shore and pulls it out. And it's that moment of knowing you're not alone, that maybe that letter, those words that were written are exactly what your heart needed to hear from someone who truly understands. So, the respect of this book, I always ask our singers to do a little project with us, right? And I had asked them, I send out packages at the end of a project, and I asked them, will you write a letter to either yourself of the past containing the words that you really needed to hear, or the words you need to hear right now? Because most likely those words that you need to hear but have never been spoken are words somebody else needs to hear as well. So I had no idea what I would get, right? I thought maybe there'd be you can do it, yay, go get life, which would be great, right? We all need to hear those things as well. But when I received them, I'd asked them to, I'm the only one that would know who wrote which one. And so in their packages, I would print them all out and I would roll one up and put it in a little bottle that I thought was twice as big when I ordered them, but was not. So it was a little tricky for everybody to get them out. And hopefully the one that they were sent, and I just put them in at random, where the letter would contain the words that you needed to hear. And so when I read all of these that came in, I was completely awestruck. The level of depth, the level of vulnerability, the voice of each individual that really came through in these letters was something that I thought could not be kept to ourselves. That it's not just other people with cystic fibrosis, but the general population. Just because our obstacle might look like CF, everybody still feels pain, feels passion, feels heartache, feels joy. It just has a different name ascribed to what gave us those emotions. So at the basis of it all, knowing that we're not alone. And so this book is 30 days, like Rebecca said, of letters, and that you can go through every single day. There's even space for you all to write your own letters, whether it is to yourself that you need to hear, or maybe what you think somebody else needs to hear. So now that I just word vomited on all of you, if you have any questions, feel free, like you can drop them in the chat and stuff as well. Yeah, Rebecca, back to you, love.
Thank you so much for explaining all about the project and everything that we do. And yeah, just thank you again for being here. This is really special. And I hope everybody else is feeling as inspired as I am right now. I think like this book, I think it's the kind of thing where like I didn't realize how much this meant to me until I got my copy in the mail and was like holding it and just like crying, because it means a lot, like when you do find that connection, and you feel like you're not alone anymore. So I would love to share a couple of the letters in here with all of you guys, and then we'll have a little bit of time that we can write our own letters, more about nature, and because that is something that we've had some conversations about lately too around the nature journal community, is how like if you are somebody who is like really loves nature, is connected to nature, it can feel isolating sometimes because like not everybody gets it, and there are so many problems that we're facing, with the environment, on a global level and on local levels, that it can be really hard to handle all of that, and it's easy to feel alone, to feel hopeless sometimes. So when we write our letters, that's how I was thinking about bringing it to here, to the nature journal community, like what you need to hear in terms of connecting to nature, and persevering through the hard things that do come along with that, that I don't think get talked about enough. But if there is some other kind of obstacle or something that's you're dealing with in your life and you would rather write about that, maybe you could put in like, how does nature help you with that? These are my suggestions, but you can approach it any way that you want to. There's no right or wrong here, and I'll read a couple letters, but there's no particular style or anything. The most important thing is that you can write something that feels true to you, that's in your own voice. Like Ashley was talking about, the importance of your voice, and I think that's something that I've really gotten from my time with Ashley, and that's I think has become one of the most important things that that really because of that, that I'm trying to now bring here with all of you is the importance of each one of us, finding our own voice. And, when we look at everybody else's nature journals, it's really easy to feel intimidated or to feel like everybody else is so good at this, like, why even bother doing my own? But, every single one of us has our own unique voice and they all matter. And it's, nobody else has done that. So these are, so like Ashley said, the letters in here are all anonymous. There is a list in the back of the authors. So yeah, there's me. But it's not on the individual letter, but a couple of you know that I actually had a surprise unboxing of this book because it arrived during one of these workshops in December. So I told you that I would read you mine. So a random person who buys this book won't know which letter is mine, but you will know. So I'm going to read mine, and then I want to read the one that I got in the bottle. And then Ashley, I don't know if there's one that you want to share. You're also, I invite you to share one if you want. Yeah, so another thing I want to say is that Ashley asked us all to write a letter, just like write what you needed to hear. No specific requirements, like no length or anything. So I was like, okay, I wrote mine. And then later she's like, oh, by the way, we're putting this into a book. So that was kind of a surprise, but a good surprise. But she also said that, we didn't have to be in it if we didn't want to, but I did want to. So mine is a little bit longer than some of the others. I didn't know that when I wrote it, but okay. So anyway, this is, I'm on day 26. There's a picture, it looks like the beach at nighttime. So here is my letter. I'm writing the words that I have needed to hear in the hopes that they will help you as well. Growing up, I was always told, CF doesn't define you, and you can do anything you want to do. My parents and doctors worked very hard to make sure that I could have a normal life. This is a wonderful intention, and I'm thankful that I was encouraged to do many incredible things. However, sometimes there are things we can't do. Sometimes when we're pushing ourselves so hard to keep up with normal, we make ourselves sick. Our disease may be invisible, but we do have limits. Rest is so important. We need to take care of ourselves. Resting doesn't mean we are lazy. It is a way of loving ourselves. Remember that even when CF is under control, our bodies are working twice as hard as everyone else, even just to sit there and breathe. CF doesn't define us, but it is a part of our story. And sometimes its roar can best be tamed when its story is acknowledged and allowed to be told. Only you can know for yourself what your limits are. When are you pushing yourself in a healthy way to stretch outside your comfort zone and grow? And when is it unhealthy? When are you pushing yourself too hard and wearing yourself down? Listen to your body. Trust yourself. It can be so hard when there's outside pressure telling us to ignore our inner voice. Pressure to succeed, to be productive, in order to be worthy. But you know deep inside what is right for you. Take a breath and listen. It's great to do many things, to chase our dreams and not let CF get in the way of that. But it's also okay not to be busy all the time. Remember to just enjoy being and breathing. Ask for help. Get any accommodations you need. Stick up for yourself. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a strength to know who you are, to know what you need, and to be able to communicate that. CF gives us great problem-solving skills. It's a strength to know there are challenges in your path and to try anyway. Whenever possible, give yourself the time and space you need to rest. fully, completely, to keep yourself healthy in body and mind, and try not to let yourself feel guilty about it. I'd say rest, you deserve it, except that you don't have to do anything to deserve being healthy. When we take care of ourselves properly, only then are we able to grow into our full selves, come into our full potential, and share our gifts with our community and the world. Being of service to others means first taking care of ourselves. Finally, remember that having CF gives us an awareness and appreciation of our breath that many people never have. To me, this is a gift. I've always felt that CF has made me feel especially connected to the wind. Breathe in and out. Sing, knowing that your breath is a part of the wind that flows all around you. And then the last line is a lyric from the song. Remember, it's not the water that empowers the weak. It's the wind that inspires a salty force no one can break. And that's my letter. Thank you. And then, Ashley, I was wondering if you might be able to read my other letter just so I can save my voice a little bit.
Yeah. Which one did you get, Rebecca?
It's it's early on, day 8.
Okay, day 8. Also, I know, Rebecca, you had Sky pull it out, like finally get it out, because they were so jammed in there.
It was so stuck that literally I had it for a couple months now, and just was it last week? Some of you, I think, have met my younger, or at least I've talked about my younger sibling Sky, and they just managed to get this out. So I did not know which letter I got until very recently.
Let me ask you this, Rebecca. Was it what you needed to hear?
Yes.
I said to her, she said she tried to get it out. And I said, well, clearly you don't need to hear it right now. So when you finally get it out, that's when you really need to get it. So this is what hers said. To the eyes who need to read this and the heart that needs to hear it. You are beautiful and strong. Your light is just waiting to shine out bright to everyone. You have gifts to share, even if you haven't found them yet. There is purpose for you, for your life, for all your struggles. Maybe you know what it is. Maybe you don't. Maybe you never will. But that's not the point, is it? Your life matters. Your spirit matters. There are people in your life right now, whether you know who they are or not, who are blessed by your existence. They light up when they see you. They are sad when you cry. They are your people, and you are theirs. Even, especially, when you feel completely alone. And no, you are never truly alone. You have a whole community rooting for you, a community who has stood in your shoes and walked on the same path as you are walking. You have done great things, and you will do great things. Just keep going. Sincerely, someone with you every breath of the way. Rebecca, I almost started like crying in the middle of that. And I was like, that's so perfect for you. So perfect. Okay, I'm going to lighten the mood with the last one so that you can also all see that they can be as serious can be, but they can also be just lighthearted as well. This is day 12. And hey, you. Yeah, you know who you are.
Love this one. I almost also read this one, but I was like, I want to leave time for Ashley to read one too. That's one of my favorites.
So hey, you know who you are. It's your future self. Crazy, I know. So don't dismay my advice and be all like, you don't understand. I do understand because I've walked in your shoes, like literally. Depending on the pair, I probably still am. I know you currently believe in destiny and divine purpose and all of that, but sometimes it's actually better if you don't. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but when we put too much faith in it, it's really tempting to decide we know what that destiny and purpose is and beat ourselves up for not making it happen. First of all, if it's destiny, it's going to happen regardless of what you do. Second, the whole point of divine purpose is that we're not supposed to know what it is, at least not immediately. Ergo, drinking the haterade, yeah, I said it, on yourself for not meeting what you think it is doesn't make the whole lot of sense. I know you think you're supposed to be Harry Potter. Like you were born with this destiny and you need to fulfill it. And your hardships somehow all add up to you being better able to fulfill it. Or maybe fulfilling it makes up for all the hard things and you have cool scars and stuff. Newsflash, you ain't Harry Potter. For the record, you're not Voldemort either. You're not Ron or Hermione or Tonks or McGonagall or Dumbledore or Snape or even Dobby. You know who you are? You're Arabella Fig. You know, the crazy cat lady who lives in Harry's neighborhood. Yeah, that one. You were born into a world with all these people who have all these amazing abilities and who don't even need to be on like 20 medications in order to do it. And you're just trying to figure out how to adult with CF. You don't go to Hogwarts. You don't fight anyone. Hell, you don't even have a wand. You're a friggin' squib. You spend most of the day in your home surrounded by cats, spying on neighbors, and smelling weird. And you're pretty damn satisfied doing it. I just like, I don't know, describe my day for all of you. But before you take this on as an insult.
Hang on. I need to get Reese.
Speaking of crazy cat lady. Oh, sweet baby Reese. Such a beautiful, weird cat. Reese, enjoy this. This is coming for you. But before you take this on as an insult, don't for a second think you are unimportant or unneeded. You're not the chosen one, but if it weren't for you, the chosen one would have gotten his soul sucked out of him by dementors wandering the streets of English suburbia. You're not the chosen one, but it doesn't mean you weren't chosen. So go ahead, take naps. Don't take care of yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously. Indulge in the things that make you feel good. Do what you can do, however small it may be, and leave the rest. Who knows? Your minuscule action may be a key ingredient in taking down the Dark Lord. You're awesome. I mean, obviously, but honestly, you don't need to be. You just need to be. And that's fantastic. It means you can stop trying to live up to a standard literally no one else holds you to. You can just be you. And that will be enough. Even the God of the Hebrew scripture says his name is I am. And when you can just say I am and stand on that alone, that's the most divine purpose you or anyone else can ever have. And if you're ever in doubt, remember the words of Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. So I bid you adieu. I'm going to keep on walking in those shoes of yours because Lord knows my feet are not getting any bigger. Love me. Seriously, I've learned to love me and it's flipping fantastic. You'll get there eventually.
Thank you for reading those, Ashley. I guess just before we go on to write our own, is there any thoughts or any questions from anybody? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, first of all, does everybody have a piece of paper, something to write with? You can also use a voice recorder if that's easier for you. Everybody good? Need to take a few seconds to get something. Okay, so if everybody's ready, I'm going to put a timer on for 10 minutes and invite all of you to write what's the letter that you need to hear about whatever it is. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just your voice and what do you need to hear. So don't worry if you don't finish the whole thing. I'm going to give us 10 minutes. And then I want to, if anybody who would like to share, either read what you wrote or just tell us generally about it. Technically, this goes till 1 o'clock, but I will be here later for anybody who wants to stay. So yeah, putting on a timer. Ready, set, go. about a minute left. Okay, the time is up, so take a minute, just wrap up the sentence or the thought that you're on. I would love for us to all have more than 10 minutes, but for the sake of time, I want to make sure that anyone who wants to share gets to share. So if you don't feel like you're finished, don't worry about that. You can always do more later. Reese, the TA kitty, is now curled up in my lap, so I'm in a little bit of an awkward position, but that's why that's like that. So thank you all for being here today, and thanks for participating in this and trying your hand at writing whatever you wrote. So would anybody like to share? Hear me?
Can you hear me now? All right. I just wanted to read the first paragraph of what I wrote. Dear whoever you are today, ordering your day based on weather and season is not weird. It's ancient. People had to and still have to live according to nature's dictates. You have a choice. Go ahead, take it. Fit some outdoor time in. Check the flowers or the moon, even for a few minutes.
Thank you for sharing that. Would anyone else like to go? Eva?
Okay, here goes. I didn't finish, but what I've got so far is, hey there, how are you feeling? You can tell me, you can be honest. I won't run away. You can relax your mask. I won't say you have RBF or assume you're angry. I won't judge. Instead, I will sit, give you the time you need to collect yourself, and let you tell me where you are and how. Have you eaten today? Is food giving you anxiety right now? Did something happen? You can talk about it. Are the voices bothering you today? What are they saying right now? And that's as far as I got. So thank you for this. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful activity. And thank you so much for sharing the ripple of words with us and all of what you do. I'm really honored that you shared it with us. So thank you.
Thank you. And hang on, I see Sarah wrote a bit of a long comment I need to read. If anybody else would like to go, let me know. I can also share what I wrote just now if anybody would like to hear it. Yes. So this is what I wrote just now. Dear you, I know things are hard right now, like not just for you, for everybody. The whole world is on fire and you're thinking, I'm just sitting here in my room teaching on Zoom. Am I doing enough? It never feels like enough. But here's the thing. You can only do what you can do. I know the whole time you were growing up, you heard over and over until it sunk into your very bones. You are going to save the planet. And you tried. Your whole life has been geared towards this goal you've been chasing. You're literally carrying the world on your shoulders. So I know it's hard to come to terms with this, but you are not going to save the planet. Not by yourself, anyway. There are forces and systems so much bigger and more powerful than you. It's not your responsibility as an individual to change that. I'm so sorry that you internalized that in the way you did. You can't save the planet, but that doesn't mean to lose hope. That doesn't mean you can't still make a difference in a really powerful way. Working together, we all support each other, the way trees support each other through their roots in the forest. When one is sick, it gets help, and then when it is able, it helps the others, creating a system where we can all thrive and all make a difference. The planet is made up of a million tiny places. Take care of the dirt where you stand and support others to do the same. And that's as far as I got. So we only have a few minutes before we're technically over. So I think I want to take the time to do our announcements. First of all, the normal announcements. If you'd like, I'm putting some links in the chat. If you would like to follow along with what I do, you can subscribe to my newsletter if you want to hear about everything that's going on. You can also find recordings to these workshops on my YouTube channel. And this program is free for the community, but if you are able to donate, that's always appreciated. And, you know, we like to say, if you don't donate, then just do what you can, pass it on with an act of kindness somewhere you can in your life. Now, a couple other announcements. I think I'm gonna not have a class next week, so I need a break. And so probably the week after, I'll see you guys back here again. Yeah, unless I decide I do want to do it, but I think I'm going to take a break. And now, as some of you have heard, my restoration class is coming up again. And I'm also going to have a free training before that. That's called A World Full of Stories. That's more about using words and stories in our nature journal. So again, follow along if you want to, yeah, if you would like to take part in any of that. And before everybody has to go, I would like everybody to think about everything that we did here in our time together today, and think about what's your biggest takeaway from the workshop today, and how, even though we didn't exactly do nature journaling today, this is a little bit different, but how will you apply it to your nature journaling? When you do have your nature journal and you go outside, or you have some nature objects that you're observing or whatever, how can you take what we did here to apply to that? So I invite everybody to type something about that into the chat so we can all share with each other what's your takeaway. What did you get from our time today? And that can be something different for everybody. Jasmine wrote, what I will take away is that we have so much more in common with each other than I thought, especially when it comes to struggles. Yeah, like Ashley said, that this book is about CF, but it can apply to a lot more than that. Other cons, to be gentle with myself. All contributions are important, no matter how small. Permission to be myself. Inspiration. This is a wonderful community. No matter the message, if it's rooted in our truth, we can all see ourselves in each other. Ask nature that what you are seeing, what is the message you are trying to tell me? Yeah, we can learn about nature. We can learn like, oh, what are the names of all these birds and all these trees or whatever, but we can also learn from nature and learn things that can help us in our lives. Thank you for your comment, Ivea. Ivea wrote, I have such a deeper admiration for you, Rebecca. I already adore you, and hearing more about this wonderful thing you are creating and your work with Ashley makes me appreciate you even more. Thank you. So it's 1 o'clock, so if you've got to go, that's fine, but I'll also stay here to have time for anybody else who wants to share. And I can also stop the recording if anybody wants to share but not be recorded. Oh, and Sarah says there is such power is being open and sharing our stories. I think it shows we are meant to be more arboreal / more connected than perhaps we are at this point in Western society. I'm so grateful and thankful for this community. All right, so people are heading out, so I'm gonna turn off the recording. Yeah, if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching and see you next time.